It's 9:40 now. Did we want to begin? Yeah.
Okay, so we'll call the meeting to order and we'll start off with roll call. I guess is Nick showing up today?
Through the chair, we're going to reach out to him and see if he's coming. Yeah,
Okay.
we believe he
All right.
is, yeah.
Mel?
Here.
Bob?
Here.
Yannicka?
Here.
And myself, Dale. Are there any members on the committee that have a conflict of interest today with any applications? Okay. We need a motion to ratify the minutes.
Yes, it was July 2nd and the July 16th Committee of Adjustment meeting.
Okay, so both meetings, moved by Mal, seconded by Yannicka. All in favor? Opposed, seeing none, carried. Our first application will be at 9:45.
Okay.
Is that right? Yeah.
Why did it kick me out?
Yeah. So we just please here.
Okay, it's now 9:45. The first application to be heard is a minor variance application. A 2026-00202, 59 East 24th Street, Hamilton. Owner is T. Briscoe. Applicant is also the same. And agent is Nistico Architect Incorporated, S. Nistico. Are there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application? Either.
I do.
Yes, okay, please come up here at the front. Please provide your name and address, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thank you.
It's Tracy Briscoe, 59 East 24th Street.
Oh, sorry, no. We're asking if any
Oh, public.
residents, any members of the public wanted
Sorry.
to speak first. Sorry, no. We'll get to you. Is there anyone in the other meeting room? 222 or on WebEx, 59 East 24th Street. Okay, seeing none, I'll ask applicant or agent, please step forward. Please provide your name and address, and you have.
We'll do this again.
You got somebody online on WebEx.
That's,
Agents online.
agent is online.
Oh, the agent, okay.
Hello, good morning.
Are you speaking on the application?
I am.
Okay.
My agent is online to answer any technical questions that the
Okay.
committee may have.
Sure, go ahead.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the committee. My name is Tracy Briscoe, and I'm the owner of 59 East 24th Street. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I understand that my written response may not have been circulated due to the timing of the submission, so I'll briefly summarize the key planning points orally for the committee's consideration. I'd also like to thank planning staff and the various city departments for the review of my application. I appreciate the comments provided and the time that they have invested in evaluating this proposal. After reviewing the staff report and recommendations, I respectfully submit that the requested variances do satisfy all 4 tests under Section 45(1) of the Planning Act. In my submission, the variances are minor in nature and impact, maintain the general intent and purpose of the Urban Hamilton Official Plan, maintain the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw number 05200, and are desirable for the appropriate development and use of this land. This proposal was developed very carefully over several design iterations in consultation with my architect and daughters. Our objective was not simply to maximize development of the property, but to create an attached additional dwelling unit that provides additional housing while remaining compatible with the established character of the Eastmount neighborhood. The Hamilton Urban Official Plan supports residential intensification within neighborhoods, including residential units, provided compatibility with the surrounding area is maintained. In my view, this proposal reflects that objective by adding 1 modest detached ADU on a fully serviced residential lot while preserving the property's low-density residential character. For clarity, this application includes a limited addition to the existing principal dwelling as well as the proposed detached ADU. The ADU remains clearly subordinate to the principal dwelling in size, scale, function, and does not replace or compete with the main dwelling as the primary residential building on the lot. I appreciate that planning's report identifies cumulative impact and neighborhood compatibility as primary considerations. These same considerations informed this design process from the outset and influenced the decisions regarding the building's size, placement, height, amenity space, landscaping, and privacy measures. The application before you reflects these efforts. With respect to a lot coverage, more than 106 square meters of the backyard will remain free of building coverage, with substantial open space retained for landscaping, amenity space, and tree planting. In my submission, the property will continue to function as a low-density residential lot. The proposed ADU is approximately 79 square meters in size, representing an increase of only 4 square meters over the permitted maximum. That additional area allows for a functional 2-bedroom dwelling while remaining modest in scale and subordinate to the principal dwelling. Similarly, the requested building height of 6.5 meters represents an increase of only 0.5 meters above what is permitted. The additional height allows for practical construction and appropriate interior living space while maintaining a scale that is consistent with surrounding residential development. The staff report also comments on the proposed rooftop amenity area. This feature was designed with privacy in mind. It is located at the rear of the property and includes architectural screening for intended to reduce the overlook concerns. In my submission, it balances the need for a private outdoor amenity space for any future occupants with appropriate consideration for the neighboring properties. With respect to the unobstructed access path, the proposed width is approximately 0.955 meters, where 1 meter is required. This represents a deficiency of 45 millimeters. A continuous, unobstructed path is still provided from East 24th Street to the entrance of the detached ADU, and I respectfully submit that this very small deviation does not affect the intended function of this access route. With respect to front yard landscaping, the proposal provides approximately 34% landscaped area where 50% is required. While I acknowledge staff's comments that this proposed treatment continues to maintain the residential appearance of the property and remains compatible with this surrounding streetscape. In preparing this application, I had wanted to provide the committee with as much context as possible regarding compatibility within the surrounding neighborhood. And for that reason, the application included a detailed variance approval matrix that compares this property with previously approved detached ADUs and other residential intensification projects in this area. While I recognize that every application must be considered on its own merits, these approved variants listed are comparable and in several respects greater than those requested through this application. In my view, the most comparable approval is 46 East 24th Street, referenced as HMA 22388, which is located on the same block as my property. For this property, the committee has approved a 6.5 meter building height, a second floor balcony, a 0.9 meter unobstructed access path, an 81.3 square meter detached additional dwelling unit, and a walkway that is located within the required land strip. This matrix also references 58 East 24th Street, HMA 21292, where the committee approves substantial rear yard variances, including accessory structures occupying approximately 49% of the rear yard. Again, I do recognize that past approvals do not dictate the outcome of future applications. However, I believe they provide a very useful context in demonstrating that similar forms of residential intensification have been previously found to be appropriate and compatible with this neighborhood. My proposal follows that established pattern rather than introducing a form of development that is unfamiliar to the area. I also note that, to my knowledge, no public objections have been received regarding the application. While the application must be evaluated on its own planning merits, the absence of public objections provides helpful context that this proposal has not generated neighborhood concern regarding its compatibility. Finally, I wish to confirm that I fully accept the conditions recommended by staff respecting the tree protection plan and the landscape plan. I'm committed to satisfying those requirements through the building permit process. In closing, I respectfully submit that the required variances, when considered both individually and together, facilitate one modest detached additional dwelling unit and a limited addition to the existing dwelling. The proposal does not create a development that is out of scale with the surrounding neighborhood. It maintains appropriate building separation, functional outdoor amenity space, opportunities for landscaping and tree planting, and the appearance of a low-density residential property. For those reasons, I submit that the application maintains the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaws, is desirable as an appropriate use of the land, and is minor in nature and impact. For those reasons, I respectfully request the committee approve this application subject to the recommended conditions. I thank you for your time and consideration, and I'd be pleased to answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you. Does the committee have any questions on this application? I know the one planning is recommending tabling because of the shortage or the lack of front yard landscape area. But does committee, Mel?
Can we hear from the staff?
I'm sorry?
I just want to hear from the staff.
Do I want to hear from?
No, I do.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Through the chair, Anthony Mancini, Planning Technician 1. Staff are recommending the application be tabled to allow opportunity to work with the applicant on a revised proposal that addresses some of our concerns, particularly the provision for the unobstructed access. Emergency services require a minimum of 1 meter of unobstructed access, so that staff aren't supportive of reducing that requirement. And in addition, staff aren't supportive of permitting the balcony for the ADU above the first floor, which is goes against the intent of the bylaw, which prohibits such instances. So staff overall are recommending the application be tabled to work with the applicant on a revised proposal. Thank you.
May I speak?
Sure.
So with respect to the 1 meter wide, if the staff is not going to recommend and the committee is not going to provide that variance, then this entire application is dead in the water. There's zero that ever can be done to change that because we're talking about property lines, not distances from the next building. I'm asking for a 45 millimeter variance to that. And as again, I do respect that previous approvals don't come into play when you are looking at this, but my neighbor who put in an ADU was given a greater variance to that greater variance to that very issue.
Mel?
You're talking about that pathway. You're not changing the width of anything. What you're building is going to be the same width as what's there now.
That is correct.
Okay.
The addition doesn't go any further than the existing footprint of the property at the moment.
Anyone else on? the
I'm
committee?
stuck with a property line that goes like this, and the smallest part is 9.955.
Robert?
Thank you for your summation. That was one of the better ones we've had in a while. We touched everything,
Thank
which
you.
is good. You've obviously done this before. My concern is the staff have asked to be tabled in order to satisfy some of their needs, and that's listed in their notes. And what was just asked regarding the side setback, that is one thing that could be adjusted, so to speak, but at the same token, they're looking at a lot of other items that need to be addressed. And it's hard to argue with the staff because that's their job to identify these things and flag them, just like it's your job to discuss them. I won't say argue, but discuss them. But unfortunately, it might be the best to table it and have your architect and yourself deal with the planning department to get these things resolved to move forward. I don't feel comfortable not suggesting tabling because there's just too many little things that add up in their description and all that. So the option comes back, are you in agreement to table it? And I think I know the answer to that. But the point is, it might be the best interest of you to get everything resolved and streamlined for the next meeting and then it would walk right through.
With respect, under the Planning Act, the number of variances doesn't come into play as to whether or not an application should be put
No,
through.
no, I know, I get it.
And again, I'm going to just reiterate, the staffing report very clearly states they're not going to support an application that has less than 1 meter. So if that minor variant, if I can't change staffing's mind, then this application itself is dead in the water. And I'm not sure if their report indicates that that's their opinion, where anything can be changed on that.
That one variance might be looked at and resolved because it is existing, but there's a lot of other items too that need to be addressed over and above that.
Mhm.
And that's why I think they recommended to table it, get it solved, and then it's straight through after that, hopefully. Okay.
And if I could just add that, I mean, the reason why the committee is here is to have some, maybe put some common sense into some of the applications that come in front of us. Planning has to follow policies that are in place. And even though in different situations where a condition may require something, the committee can always have their opinion on to whether
Understood.
it fits or not.
Mhm.
So that's kind of why we're here, to bring some common sense sometimes into some situations where the policies are black and white.
Yeah.
So I guess our question to you is to table.
Well, I came here assuming that the committee was going to say to table it just based on the number of variances, and I needed to make sure that I was heard with respect to this, and that planning staff hears me, that I will be coming to my meetings with a very open mind to what it is that they're looking for. And I would expect the same to be said for them in return to myself and for the committee. So I assumed it was going to be tabled today, just based on staffing report.
And we do appreciate you coming in front of us. It clarifies a lot of stuff where sometimes on a web meeting or whatever, it's not quite as clear.
Oh, I do not like video meetings at all. I prefer in person. And just for context, this will be the 5th ADU within my block. So it's pretty popular in my neighborhood. So we're going to be getting more of these, I'm pretty sure, around Hamilton.
Okay, so are you okay with tabling this application today?
And just until the next meeting.
If there's room on the agenda,
I would have to, maybe, I don't know if we need to speak with the planning staff about that. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, assuming that staff and I will work this
Yeah,
all
we'll
out,
be
it's
in
gonna
touch. We'll
pretty
be in
quick.
touch. I don't want to, yeah, just want to take a look at that first. Yeah.
okay, Robert?
I'll make the motion to table the application until and I'll say the first available opening in the next meeting.
Okay, moved by Robert, seconded by Yannicka, all in favor? Opposed, seeing none, motion carried, so application is tabled.
And thank you to the applicant or agent. We will be in touch with you after the hearing.
Appreciate it.
Let you know next steps. Thanks. Okay, next we have a minor variance application, A2026-00189, 1072 Ridge Road, Stony Creek. Owner is C. Donovan and K. Gray, and the applicant is C. Donovan. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, either in the other room, room 222, or in this? Yeah. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application? 1072 Ridge Road, either here at the meeting room or on WebEx? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward. Are you here for Ridge Road?
Yes. Oh, sorry. I'm online on WebEx.
You are. Oh, okay, okay. I just saw some people enter the room, sorry. Okay, so again.
That's just my fan club.
Yeah, sorry, 1072 Ridge Road. I don't believe there's any members of the public who want to speak on this. Okay, then I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward. Please provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks.
Good morning, Chair and members of the committee. My name is Colin Donovan. I'm the applicant and one of the owners, along with my wife, Caitlin Gray, at the property of 1072 Ridge Road in Stony Creek. I'm here today regarding our minor variance for the proposed improvements for our existing single detached dwelling on the property. In reading all the staff notes, I provided my presentation yesterday. I'm not sure if you guys have a copy of that, but essentially I have no comments on any of the staff notes or recommendations. There are a few points that the staff wanted on future drawings, and I will make sure that we have those added. The only comments that I had were from the forestry division, but I was able to reach out, and Jess from the urban forest, she's a urban forest health technician for the city. She was able to confirm that the forestry can waive any requirements for a landscape plan at this point. So essentially, I have no comments if the staff has no comments.
Okay, thank you. Then you, oh, Mel, yeah.
I was going to say, everything seems to be in the Conservation Authority. I just looked at their report and they have no problems with it, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion made by Mel, seconded by Robert. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have a minor variance application, A2026-00192, 54 South Meadow Crescent, Stony Creek. Owner, there's 2 owners, P. Bougerak and B. Bougerak. Yes. Okay, is there any members of the public wish to speak on this application, whether it be in the meeting room here or on WebEx? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward, please provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks. Just sit up there. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning, members of the committee. My name is Peter Bougerak, and address 54 South Meadow Crescent in Stony Creek. I am here for minor variance for the storage building that I intended to build on the back of the property. So this started in 2004. I had 2 projects. One was front porch covered. The other one was the storage unit in the back. In 2004, I obtained the permit for the front porch, built, approved, closed, like the permit closed. The second unit, like the unit in the back, I couldn't build at the same time. So last month, yeah, I applied for permit for the storage unit, only to find out that zoning has been changed. Whatever that is, I don't know. So instead of building 54.81 square meters, now I'm only allowed to build 45 square meters. Now, even the 54.81 square meters is less than allowed, which is 7.5% of the area. And the footprint of the proposed building is only like 54.1, 6.26% of the area. So then I looked at my neighbor, which is only 100 feet from me. On a single lot, he is building 3 houses. When Maria Pearson was there in the neighborhood, we asked, why is this allowed? Because in that area, the lots are all like exceptionally large, like 60, 70, 100 feet frontage. She said, oh, we need more houses in Hamilton. I agree with that. I have no problem with the guy building there, or, I know we need more housing. But why is it allowed for this guy to build 3 houses on a single lot, and I can't even build a storage unit? So like over the years, I accumulated stuff that I like to keep, but I have no place to store it. Half of my stuff is in the storage because I sold my bigger house. I moved in a smaller house. I have a single garage. So the reason I applied for this is to have that, all that stuff put in the storage, use my garage for what's intended for, to park the vehicle in the winter. Now, having said all this, if I knew that I have to go through all of this, I would have went and built the unit, asked for forgiveness, and paid the fine. And the building would have been done by now. Like, this has to be looked at a bigger picture. In the city of Hamilton, we have almost 600,000 people. If you have 10,000 to 20,000 of these kind of projects, small projects, that's a big boost to the economy. So that has to be looked at too. And I mean, I don't understand in the first place, why was the zoning changed from R2 to R1? Was that better? Was that something wrong with the zoning before? What is the intention of that zoning change?
And on this committee, we don't have any control over when those changes happen or why they happen.
No, I'm not saying that you have, but.
No. Did you have a chance to read the comments that were posted? Because they are favorable comments.
No, I didn't read anything.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, through the chair, usually around a week or so before the hearing, we would have sent you an email just to remind you the staff comments were posted online.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
So the comments from planning are favorable for your project.
well, thank you for that.
Okay. Does the committee have any questions?
And can I just say, there is not lack of space, because between the house and the proposed building, there is 56 feet. So it's not like the lot is small or and takes more space than needed.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve with the proposed notes.
Okay, motion made by Yannicka, seconded by Mal. All in favor? Opposed, seeing none, motion carried, application approved.
Thank you.
Okay. We'll be in touch with you after the hearing, the staff, okay? Thanks. Have a good one. Next, we have a minor variance application, A2026-00179, 1027 Woodburn Road, Glanbrook. Owner, it's 2 owners, N. Petra Kupa and B. Petra Kupa, and the applicant is M. Petra Kupa. I apologize if I mispronounced the names. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application? Either here in the meeting room or on WebEx? Okay, seeing none, I will ask the applicant or agent, please step forward and provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks.
This is the owner, Mark. I'm doing the renovation. Mark Derubis, is that okay if I just had a quick morning committee? We're just, we have an application for minor variance for an accessory building. We read the comments online from the committee. I know there's a neighbor's comment too. We don't have any further comments unless there's questions of us.
Okay. Does committee have any questions for the agent?
Are you okay with the conditions there with the tree condition?
Yeah, in this particular building portion of the lot, there's no trees that
I
are.
know, but the conditions there, I just wanted to make sure you've seen that.
Sure, yeah, we saw it,
Okay.
yeah, no problem.
In that case, I make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion made by Mel, seconded by Robert. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none? Motion carried, application approved.
Thank you.
And sorry, just
Yes.
if I get your names again,
Sorry.
I apologize.
I'm Mark Pietrkuba.
Oh, okay. And you?
And
you
I'm
were-
Mark Drubis, M-A-R-C, D-R-U-B-E-I-S.
Okay, thanks.
Thank
So it's
you.
both Mark, okay. Okay,
Thank you.
thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, and then next we had it was a consent and a minor and a related minor variance application. So B25060. And that's the consent, and then the minor variance is A25171. So for the consent, purchaser is S. Sergio, owner is D. Musitano, applicant is S. Sergio, agent is Urban Solutions Planning and Land Development Consultants, M. Johnston. And then for the minor variance application, that's the A25171, the owner and the applicant and the owner there is S. Sergio, applicant is S. Sergio, and then agent is Urban Solutions Planning and Land Development Consultants, M. Johnston. The applicant tabled these applications prior to the hearing, so as such, the committee will not be hearing it today. So if there's anyone here, whether it be in the meeting room on WebEx or on WebEx, just letting you know these two applications. It was for 3417 Tyneside Road. That's for the consent, and then 3325 Tyneside Road for the minor variance, both in Glanbrook. They were tabled prior to the hearing. If you have an interest in this matter, if you're here in the meeting room, please fill out an interested party form. Or if you're on WebEx, you can email us at cofa@hamilton.ca, and then we will notify you of any updates on these applications. Okay. Okay. Next is, next is a consent application, B2026-00190, 92 Strathern Place, Glanbrook. Owner is E. Clapick. Applicant is Urban in Mind, P. Yam Lau. Agent is the same. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application? Please step forward. Please provide your name and address. Sorry, just provide your name and you'll have 5 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Michael Cahill, 55 Aberdeen Avenue, Mount Hope.
Michael Cahill,
Have a seat, sir. Yeah,
Thank you. Is the owner here?
not
No?
sure.
No, I'm the only one. Heck,
The owner and applicant should be here, yeah. They'll speak after the members of the public speak, yeah.
are they here now?
I think they're on, for 92 Strathern Place, is the applicant or agent, are you on WebEx there?
Yes. Yes, I am.
Okay, yeah, they're on WebEx. Yeah, so they'll speak after you, okay?
That's the agent.
Thank you,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay. One of the issues, they back onto my property on Aberdeen Avenue. Some other neighbors were supposed to be here, but whatever reason. The existing house that's there now is on a septic system. I've called the city, I don't know how many times because it overflows and stinks. So that's a real problem. They're going to maintain that house. It has to have water and sewer put into it. End of story. It's a mess and the city doesn't deal with it. I'm upset with the city over that too, because it stinks. Second thing, putting the type of dwelling. I know the city wants density, but it's controlled density. How big is the house? How tall is the house that they're proposing? Nothing's here for that. And the biggest problem, another big problem is what you've done in this city for density. Cars are parked all in the streets, all over the place. You don't provide proper parking, and it's annoyance for the neighbors, and it's dangerous. And on Aberdeen Avenue, there's nobody parks on the street. Strathern, nobody parks on the street. So this type of garage, the size of the driveway, those things are very important, and the height to the neighbors. Because I think integrity, you still want to maintain nice neighborhood, I believe. Because if it's only about money, the city wastes money anyway. So the density doesn't do anything for anybody except screw up the neighbors, right? So the height, they did, this same owner, I believe, a few years back, built they sold off one of these pieces, and they built like a huge, huge two-story that looks over everybody's property. We all have bungalows. So the owners don't care what they build, and I don't think the city does, but I do, and some of the residents do, okay? And I think the city has a responsibility to make sure the parking isn't going to be an issue. We don't want parking on the streets. Aberdeen Avenue and Strathern, you should see how many kids play on the streets, how many dogs are walked, families, little kids. As soon as you put cars on the street, you're toast. Because when I drive out of that survey to the new areas in Mount Hope, it's a nightmare because you got to pull over between the cars because you can't get two cars through. So I'm not sure what this developer builder plans. It's always all about money, but they can try and accommodate the neighbors if they wish. But there's going to be an obstruction is type of dwelling. Now, when you have a bungalow and you build a 3-story townhouse with no basement, 30 feet wide, it junkies the whole neighborhood. You've destroyed neighborhoods because of parking. You've destroyed them and no parks. So your density issue, if there's council members here, is sad because it's not planned well. And the thing is, the money's not spent well. The idiot mayor put in stops, bumps through our whole survey. For Mount Hope now, there's 9 speed bumps coming off Highway 6 Homestead Drive. 9. It's ridiculous. Now, they weren't even smart enough to, by the police department or the fire department, they had to remove 3 of them because the ambulances and fire trucks were having trouble going over the damn speed bumps to get to the highway. So again, city has some responsibility. I don't know the law or what your angles are, but it's not about the law, it's about common sense, what happens here. And I want to know what kind of property is being built. It doesn't say here. It just says it's severing. We all have 100-foot lots. Now you're putting up a 30-foot lot. 100-foot, all around us. Now you're putting in 2 30-foot semi-detached. Again, there's nothing here, so how do I complain on what they're building because there's nothing here? So in the next step, I'd like to know. And I'd like the city and council members to take a little more responsibility because when I see density, and I understand what it is because you're protecting farmland, I understand the policy, it's not about that. It's a type of construction and what you do to the neighborhood is what bothers us. Okay, and especially me because it's right in my backyard. Okay, and the height and all that's important to us. Okay, I don't know other than not going into law and details. I've talked to judges that I know, and I've talked to lawyers that I know well, and the city always wins on density. But I like the city and the people to look at how they do this. It's not always about tax revenue. And quite frankly, its tax revenue is not well spent anyway in the city. Just look at Barton, look at downtown, look at the homeless, look at the crap in the city. And nobody takes responsibility for it. In Mount Hope, the parking is a big issue. You go down any of the new streets, everybody's parked on the street. Everybody. And my brother's a senior developer, works with a senior developer, $1 billion company, and he does this kind of work. And he said the biggest problem with the city, with density, is parking and parking or playgrounds. You don't accommodate for that. And you make a mess of the city. You do. And you just have to drive around to find out, okay? And now, one nice thing in the wintertime is you have from November 30th, I think, till March 31st, you can only park on one side. What a blessing, because now 2 cars can get through. It's a blessing, to do that. So my concern again is parking on the street, Strathern, there's nobody parks on the street. And Aberdeen Avenue, nobody parks in the street. But look at the new survey. And you got kids running around between parked cars and you got to pull over to get out of the survey. You know, so I don't know, again, without getting into law in detail, I'd like to see the builder or the owner work with the neighborhood rather than just put his foot down and the city protects them. And you see it all around. You don't have a good reputation in the city. And I'd like to see that changed. And again, back to the type of development that's being done. I think the person or owner, you know, I understand what he's trying to do, but he should try and accommodate the best wishes of the neighbors. Height, type, is it brick or siding? Is it a crappy house? Is it, you know, what is he building there? And development now, also because of the sewer system, I'd like to see that property dug into to check on the contamination of the soil that's come from your bloody septic bed. And again, you can go back in the city and you can see my name all over the place. It stinks. The septic bed. So there's nothing there. So he needs to put sewers and correct that. And I understand that that sewage runs into that property. So I want that addressed as well. Because as you all know, contaminated soil is not a good thing, especially when you disrupt it. Okay? So again, the owners are listening to this, and I'd like to hear that they're trying to accommodate to make the neighborhood clean, safe, and parking. So again, the legal aspect of it, even the last time I was here facing these people, I said to the judge, why am I here? He said, what do you mean, sir? Nobody ever wins these cases. And the judge said, you're right. You don't win.
Yeah.
Absolutely don't win.
So
we had a little joy. It was joyous because I'm not being aggressive in any way, but it's true. So, you know, and that's what happens. So if we can't win, can we look at the type of product being built, the density for streets? Now, I want that soil checked behind me because they're going to dig a hole and I want it checked for sewage contamination, period. And that I will not walk away from because the septic bed stinks and overflows. It's been doing it for years and done nothing about it, probably because you wanted to sever the property. And you can look back, there's lots of neighbors complained. But the bylaw officer comes out, nothing gets done. And you know, we have water and sewer available, but it costs money, right? To bring it into the property, a lot of money. So he probably doesn't want to do it to the existing home, but he has to. Because I'm not going to fall back on that, either is some of my other neighbors. So we'll go after the city for that, 100%. And I want the soil checked behind me, right behind me for contaminated soil. And I'd like to see what they're going to build. Okay, so I rest my case.
There, Bob will come to you in just a minute.
Yeah.
I just have a question.
Sure.
You look at an aerial view, there's an area of the subdivision where your house is.
Yeah.
And where this one is.
Yeah.
You can tell it's new because of all the trees that are there.
Yeah.
But is your house on the septic system?
No, I built the house personally 28 years ago. It's 55. I back right onto the property.
Okay, I just want to clarify. So
Yeah.
you're on sewers?
No, I'm water and sewer, yes.
You're on sewer?
And storm sewer too.
Well, yeah, okay, now, this house at 92 Strath, you're saying that there's a tile bed in the back?
Yeah.
So there's either A, there's no sewers along Strathmore, or B, he's never hooked up to it.
Never hooked up to it.
I just wanted to clarify that. Thank you.
And now, I don't have a survey plan or any history of that. I just know. And I've complained about the sewage smell, so have my neighbors, the bylaw officer.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Thank you for that, so.
And there may be another avenue that you could, environmental issue rather than going, it's just a suggestion, rather than going through bylaw, is trying to contact environmental issues.
Yes.
And they have more clout than maybe what
And
you're getting now.
And thank you for that. I'm not asking you to gang up on the owners.
no,
I understand that.
Yeah.
All I'm asking is, you know, is common sense and fair to the neighborhood. But people that do this, they don't care.
I understand.
So if you can put some caveats in there to say, this is what you want to make the neighborhood safe, you know, that's where I like the environment issue. End of story with that. It's not going to happen. And I want that property that's staying put on sewers and water. End of story for that. Because again, it's probably contaminating the soil behind it, and then which goes into the other neighbor's soil. I'm high up because I built new. Lucky for me, I put in trees, a mature property, and I'm 4 feet higher than the
And so that
lots.
part of the application, we can't really deal with. We can only deal with what's in front of us today and separating
Okay.
up this lot. And just, I mean, my feelings to it, I live in the Mount Hope area.
Oh, good, okay.
And this is an old survey.
Yes.
When I
Yes.
went to school in Mount Hope, all the kids I played with lived on that street.
And the kids are there now with their kids.
And
lot of
so I tend to agree with you on some of your comments. Once we start this ball rolling down this road, the same thing can happen on multiple lots. And I just don't feel that the intensification in this area needs to happen, even though it fits what the city wants for frontage on this. These are big lots, and I just have that fear that once you start this in this survey, the next house that goes up for sale,
tear it down.
Someone buys it and says, well, it's already been done down the street, so I can split this lot in half.
That's what I started 10 years ago when he bought this property, and I got help from my wife. I was in the East Coast, said, why didn't you buy the property? Which I could have. I didn't know I was out golfing on the East Coast. I'm from Prince Edward Island, so I have a home there and I like to go there. And I didn't know, but I did argue the fact, the same house, what are you building? A monster, white brick, awful looking house, just a square box overlooking the whole neighborhood.
Yeah.
But he's at least on a big lot.
Okay.
Right, and the density thing, and my brother, he's senior VP for a major billion-dollar company. And he does water, sewer, and stonework and streets, bridges. And he said the biggest problem with density is parking and no playgrounds.
Okay, so I think we're going to hear from the agent.
Yeah.
Sorry, through the chair, I think we have other members of the public who wanted to speak
do
as
you?
well. Yes. No, as you see,
Oh.
you can either come in person or you can attend virtually. So we have some people, I think virtually as well. Yeah.
Four.
Just checking, was
Four.
there anyone else here in the meeting room for this one for 92 Strathern Place? Okay, if not, well, I think we do have some people on WebEx for 92 Strathern Place. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, please provide your name and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Oh, hello there. My name is Heather Scott. I live on 59 Strathern Place. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
Okay. My husband and I moved there about 5 years ago. We love the street. We love the property sizes. We love that the houses, as this gentleman said, are all, uniform. They're not, super high rise. We're quite concerned that this is going to change the dynamic of the street for sure. We are quite concerned about the increased traffic, the noise and construction that needs to happen. And also it's a disruption of the character of the street as well that we're quite concerned about. We love the street. We love that it's a dead end. We love, walking on it. That's how we found our house. We do have sewage and water through the city. We're not on a septic as well. But yeah, we're quite concerned that this is going to change the dynamic of the street, having, as you said, multiple units on a lot, that it will change in the future as well if this moves forward. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Was there any other members of the public want to speak on this application? 92 Strathern Place? Okay, just first, I want to thank all the residents, members of the public who came to speak. Just for your reference, the application material, including drawings, are posted online now. Just to clarify, for a land severance application, generally the elevation drawings, they may not have been provided. They would generally just be kind of like a survey and kind of a severance sketch. However, if any members of the public had questions about this prior to the hearing, you're always welcome to contact us, call or email, or even come in and speak to us, and we could possibly reach out to the applicant and see if potentially we could get that information. Again, if there's any other issues not related to the application, related to the city, how we operate, please contact us, contact me, and I can get you in touch with the appropriate staff to speak with them. Okay, all right. Yeah, if there's no members of the public who want to, no other members of the public who want to speak, I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward. Please provide your name and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks.
Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, it's my name is Terrence Glover from Urban and Mind Planning Consultants. I'm the agent for the owner of the property. I'll take a different approach than the gentleman that spoke earlier. I do appreciate staff's comments. I do appreciate the thoroughness of the review that staff have undertaken to look at the policies that are in place. Again, the policies have recently been changed to allow increased density because of the housing problem that we have in the city and throughout Ontario. Density is encouraged and infill development is encouraged in large lots. I'll take you through our presentation here, but just to remind you that we, through the severance that we're proposing for the single as well as semi-detached, we've met all zoning requirements. There's no variances required for this. All we're asking for is the committee to sever the property in terms of the policies that are already in place. So we're meeting all the policies. We're just asking for the division of land to meet those policies. A couple clarification of the questions that were raised are water, sewer. The existing building is older, as you know. It is on septic. As part of the redevelopment of this property, we will be putting the existing building as well as the new buildings on both water and sewer services. So there will be no septic on the property. And obviously that will have to be dismantled according to environmental standards and requirements and building permits. The gentleman who spoke, who lives behind this property, has called Bylaw, what I understand, a number of times. Bylaw has come out and informed him that there are no issues or are no problems with the property. There is no enforcement on the property in terms of septic system. So that has been resolved from the municipal side. From a parking point of view, there is adequate parking, actually surplus parking with the development. We're not anticipating any street parking required for at all. I mean, as with any development, to be fair, if Christmas time, Easter celebration, there may be some parking that if there's an occasion, but standard, I mean, that's with any development anywhere. But a standard requirement we've met and surpassed any required parking requirements. There was a severance done on this property 17 years ago by a different owner, nothing to do with us. There was a suggestion that it's a 3-story building. It's not. It's a 2-story, 2.5-story proposed. We haven't even submitted the application for a building permit yet, but that appears to be a 2-story building with room in the attic. So it appears to be a 2-story building with a roof. The 2.5-story is when there's available space in the roof, that the attic area that they use. There was a suggestion about the character of the neighborhood in that, and through the secondary plan, official plan, as well as the zoning that's been in place here, the character for this area, as well as throughout neighborhoods in the city, it's not meant to be static and never change. It's meant to evolve over time, and unfortunately, people who aren't in the planning industry don't appreciate. They feel that I'm here. This is what it's going to be forever and a day until I die, and when I move out, then you can change it. But it evolves over time as things are needed. In this case, Hamilton has identified that housing is a major issue and we're in a crisis situation. We need housing. So where can we allow housing to occur through ADUs or whatever? But in this case, we're just asking for single detached units and semi-detached units. Where can it occur? And they decided that on large existing lots where it's a surplus area, we can cut those down as long as they meet bylaw requirements. We can cut those down to create new housing opportunities. And that's what we're proposing to do today. I'd like to bring to your attention too, if I could share my screen.
Sorry, was this the presentation?
It is, but I have a little bit more to add to that.
Okay.
An issue just came forward.
Yeah, usually we don't, we usually request you send it to us before the meeting.
Okay, something, an issue came up. Oh, is it possible?
I'll let you, let me just see. Okay. Or could you send it over to me by email by chance?
Okay, let me see if I can. I'm sorry, it's going to take more than 5 minutes now. But
yeah, that's why we tell you, please in future, just send it to us back prior to the meeting. Yeah. Because some of the features of WebEx there, we don't, actually, I don't know, Anna, if we could.
Okay, I'll,
Yeah, just send it to cofa@hamilton.ca.
okay, anyways, while I'm doing this, darn it, this one's. While I'm doing this, there was an issue that came up and it wasn't raised, but I'm going to raise it to be fair. There were 2 trees that were removed by the neighbor, or by the owner, sorry, recently. I'm just trying to move this. Okay, I just sent it to you. So there are 2 trees that were removed by the neighbor. They're right on the property line. One of them is actually a shared tree for the municipality as well as the landowner, and the other one unfortunately falls on the municipal side of the line. So it's a city tree. The owner, without checking with me, he went ahead and removed those trees because they're needed to be removed for the development regardless. So they would be removed. The proper process is to get an arborist to come and say, okay, you remove those trees and then there's a replacement. Unfortunately, the owner didn't follow that proper process. Okay, so there is if you can zoom in on the drawing part of it in the bottom. Yep, and then zoom in right on the bottom there. You can see where those 2 trees lie in terms of the property line. So from an unskilled person, it's fair to say you wouldn't know if that's a municipal tree or not. He believed that they were his own trees, so they were removed. Nonetheless, the city came out, someone complained, the city came out and they fined my client $19,000 for the removal of those 2 trees. So he has accepted that he removed them without the proper process or permission, knowing that they would have to be removed anyways, but nonetheless, he didn't follow the process and he has a fine to pay because of it. So we appreciate that. And if you want to go to the presentation really quickly.
Yep, just give me a moment.
Can I ask questions?
No. Everyone, it's first, member of the public speaks, and then the applicant speaks, and then the committee will discuss. If they want any more information from you, they'll let you know. Okay. Thank you.
Presentation.
Yep, no, I'm.
Okay.
Give me a moment. I got a lot of windows open here, unfortunately. All right. All right.
Okay, if we can go to page 3. Okay, so just as an example of another semi-detached in the neighborhood, there are semi-detached in the neighborhood. The newer developments that are happening in the neighborhood are all semi-detached. There are some smaller singles as well. But this is a characterization of what's happening to this neighborhood because of the significantly large lots and the infill abilities that both the official plan, secondary plan, and the zoning allow for, or actually promote, not necessarily allow for. Next slide, please. Next, and let's keep going. Keep going. Keep going. And again, it's a low density residential 2, and this permits semi-detached as well as single detached development on proper size lots. And again, we don't need any variances. We meet the proper size lotting. Next one, and then the one after that, where it shows the site plan. Okay, and this is the proposal. I'm sure you've seen it. We're going to remove the existing garage. It's on the side of the building, put it on the front, and we're going to build a semi-detached on the front. Again, there's 2 parking spaces in the driveway. There's an opportunity for one in the garage. And again, we meet all the requirements of the zoning. I can't stop emphasizing that. There is no issue with this lot size or lot area, lot frontage. It's basically we're just asking, can we create a lot based on the policies that we have today? And that's my presentation. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Okay, thank you. No, because,
No, as I said, as I indicated, the committee member, well, yeah, if they want any more, if the committee members want any more information from the applicant or members of the public, they will ask you that. Okay, so I'll turn it over to the committee through the chair.
okay, committee, any questions or concerns? What's the application?
I have some concerns regarding the existing house and the septic bed, tile bed, whatever, and the way it's leaching out as described. And I know the applicant said that it would be removed according to MOE standards, but that doesn't include the surrounding area if required. I've been dealt with the MOE a lot in my past, and it's something that I think needs to be addressed beforehand before we go any further. That yes, the septic system will come out, it'll be cleaned up, but then the appropriate testing on the around the lot and the neighbor's lot in behind to determine if there is any leaching of the effluent coming out of there. That's something that needs to be addressed right up front. If we have to put a condition in, we need to do that. We just can't rely on the MOE going in and approving the removal of the septic bed, et cetera, et cetera. It's got to be their surrounding property with it and clean it up accordingly.
So, Robert, you want to add that as a condition?
Oh, I think it has to be, if we're going to go that far today.
Okay.
My original thought process was because of the concerns by the applicant or the neighbor behind, some things we cannot deal with, obviously, is parking. It's out of our control. The staff did not have an issue with the layout as it was stated there. And the parking will just have to work. And as you said, parking on alternate sides helps eliminate a lot of it. That's a good step. But the whole thing comes down, and my concern is the septic system that's leaching. And I'm looking at the topographical map, it's no wonder it's flowing downhill to your side. So that's why it should be identified to have some boreholes dug, some sampling done, and then a reaction accordingly to that. It's the only way to solve it. The good news is it's not petroleum like I used to deal with, but the bad news is it's still effluent that's got to be dealt with.
Okay.
So we need to add that as a condition.
Through the chair, of course, if you're looking to add a condition, of course, the committee can do that. I don't know if you wanted to maybe have staff make a comment on that.
Well, before we get further on that, it needs to be added, and then we can go through that as well. But there's a lot of other things that just don't sit right on this site. I don't know. It's not necessarily my observation, but does this fit? Yes, it does, according to the urban standards of increasing housing, et cetera, but does it fit the neighborhood? And that's something that should be addressed. And for the neighbor there having to make comments on the development, that's great, as long as he realizes that you're probably not going to get everything satisfied, only because it's your opposite sides of the fence here. As the applicant said, everything appears to be legal other than the severance has to be done. But I think we have to look a little further than that. Does this meet the neighborhood and the requirements? So what I was going to suggest is that we recommend the application, the severance to be tabled until the applicant gets back to the staff and go through this whole process again of what can be done, what can't be done, and go from there.
May I comment on that?
Agent.
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate the comments of the committee member. Firstly, the comment for looking at the septic system, there are no leaks in the septic system. The bylaw officer came out, there was not, if there was a leak or a problem, there would have been enforcement issues. In addition, we're asking for a severance. There's certain tests from the Committee of Adjustment to look at severance. The existing removal of a septic tile bed is not one of those conditions that the committee has under the Plan Act. It will be removed. It will be removed as per building code and demolition requirements, as well as ministry requirements. To suggest that we have to go, and I understand the philosophy behind it, but to ask us to go back to staff to get them to look at it and say, oh, you are taking it out, and the staff only recourse they have is to go back to ministry standards. The city doesn't have their own standards on removing septic tile beds. So they have to go back to ministry standards, which we have to do anyways. So it's redundant to put a request on there because it has to be done regardless. If, just like anything, if the neighbor says that, no, we've done something inappropriately, there's contamination, there's trespass, there's something, there are other methods for him to come after us even, but he hasn't come after us to this point because there is no issue. And there will be no issue because we're going to septic and water system and removing that tile bed. So there will be no issue in the future for the gentleman. I get where he's coming from. He doesn't want this development to happen. There's certain things you can do to create arguments to get the perception that this shouldn't happen. And then also the character of the area. This has been contemplated by the city in both the official, secondary, and zoning bylaw amendment that it is appropriate and it does meet the character of this area. So I appreciate the comments again that from someone who lived there or someone who grew up in that area, it doesn't seem right because you grew up with a view of what this area is. But that's not what this area is changing or transitioning into because the city doesn't need or want these huge, large lots anymore. They need population housing. And this is one of the methods that the city has decided the committee as well as council should adhere to. So I appreciate the comments that were made. I'm not trying to counter them. I'm just stating the facts that the committee has certain requirements of the Plan Act to put conditions or not on here when contemplating whether it should be severed. We meet all the policies, both secondary official plan as well as zoning. All we're asking for is just to solidify what's already permitted. Thank you.
Anyone else on the committee have any comments? Robert, back.
I still stand on my original idea of tabling the application, but also getting staff to review it. They may not have realized that that house was on a septic and that's going to be demolished. There's nothing mentioned the word MOE, and I think we need to table it and have staff add a condition that the MOE get involved with the decommissioning of the septic system, but also testing around the property to make sure there's no effluent going east, west, north, or south from the tile bed. I think that would be a step in the right direction of proceeding with this. Because if you look through the conditions for the land severance, it involves trees, the forestry, carry out archaeological assessment. This is really not that much different than all of those. That I think that we should be able to add it, to force the applicant to remove it when he does the demolition, and also verify that it is clean underneath.
Again, it comes back. Mel, did you have any questions?
I think to the applicant, I think what the other, Bob just said here, that table it, you could take the application here and we got concerns about whether it fits in or right or not with the frontages on the properties. We could table it or we could go ahead and deny it. It's your choice.
If that's the question, so I would suggest if you're proposing this, add it in as a condition of approval as opposed to wasting everybody's time. Staff have to review it again, coming back to the committee, and then coming to the same conclusion we are today. put it in as a condition of approval if that's what you require, and then we can perhaps appeal it as an onerous condition to the board, or we can just fulfill that condition if required. But to say we need to table this, to go back to staff, get everybody to review this, spend more time and money, but not just our money, the staff, I mean, they're busy doing their stuff and now they have to review this. I think we can accomplish this in a condition of approval if that's what you need.
I'd like to add a comment as well. I personally think that they're going through the proper channels, and I'm well aware of septic beds and how they work. I believe that if the staff has not listed this as a condition, I don't think this is something that we need to push as a condition. I think if they're following the standards provincially, and then I think as this application stands, we need intensification in Hamilton, and they're meeting all the requirements. Like, I would be in support of this application.
And sorry, I interrupted. Through the chair, I believe engineering may have wanted to make a comment as well.
Yeah, through the chair, Helen MacArthur, senior engineer. I was just going to recommend that we add an additional condition that each lot, if approved, requires independent sewer and water services. So each lot, so that would eliminate the whole septic system issue. So each lot would have their own separate services to the property. So if we can add that as a condition.
We're fine with that, yes.
That doesn't affect that the property could be contaminated. And you're looking around all the gas stations.
Sir, no.
Gas,
Sir,
it's a problem. I want to check.
please. Robert?
I agree, we could add that clause as suggested, but it still does not protect the property from, or not protect, but it does not result in a complete MOE investigation of the property if the leaching is that bad that it's leaking onto the neighbor's property.
You don't live in my property, I do. It stinks.
Sir, please. Just through the chair, everyone, please, let's not speak over each other. And when we do that, we can't hear, right? So let one person speak first and then the other person speak. Thank you.
So I agree with putting in, it has to have the proper review for the storm sewer and normal sewers. But having said that, it still does not deal with the issue on that property that it stinks. And that's something that should be dealt with. And I think it can be dealt with in a condition, but I'm not going to put the wording together for that because I'm not a legal beagle. But it's something the staff should be able to come up with. If we table it to come back at the next meeting or the earliest appointment, once the staff has gone through it, to come up with the wording that was suggested, but also to make sure the MOE side of things are dealt with for the entire property.
Is staff willing to put some wording into that the area where the existing septic bed is be researched for contamination, leach aid?
Through the chair, Helen MacArthur, senior engineer, that is not a condition that development engineering has ever imposed or included. So I believe that may be through building, because I think building is the ones that deal with the septic system or public health, but that would not be a condition that would come from us. So it would have to be maybe be the building department.
Well, then at the same token, based on that, we don't have the right information to see where it goes in the city, that we should table it until it's determined.
Can I make a suggestion on the wording?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So again, you're basing your discussion right here on a neighbor who is against this development, who's asked bylaw to come out, look at this problem. Bylaw has come out and said there is no problem. There's no staff comments on this problem. Staff does, as you said earlier in a earlier presentation, staff does a thorough review and provides sound comments on these things. I understand the committee member has suggested a number of different areas he doesn't support this application. And this may be an area that it just delays things and costs more money. So the condition, as I see it, would be that we satisfy the city, whether it's the building department or engineering department, the condition of approval would be satisfy the city that septic removal meets the requirements of MOE policies, and any contamination flowing to overland would need to be remediated. And therefore, the septic is going to be removed as per requirements. The city has the ability, as a condition, that we have to satisfy the city that we've done it correctly. And if there's any remediation required because it's spilled over property lines, which I'm sure there's not, but if it is, that will have to be done to the city's satisfaction as well.
I think some of that.
Yeah, real quick.
Well,
I think that might work, providing the contractor doing the work on the septic system is approved by the city of Hamilton. That'll tie it up tighter.
Sure, but a professional engineer, why don't we just get a professional engineer to stamp it, because they're like their career's on the line if it's not right. And I'd just like to add too, as far as I understand through my 33 years of planning, I've never seen this condition added to a lot severance before. Typically, it has to be removed to MOE standards. So I think this condition is onerous, but you're the committee and you can do what you want, but it's very unusual, and the staff have suggested it's unusual. But I think that if you have to add a condition that we can then argue later if we want, I think to the satisfaction of the city or the satisfaction of the development director of planning, someone of authority has to look at this and say, okay, this is good or it's not good. And again, my client, I talked to him, he's not in favor of tabling this because, I mean, if this, excuse my approach here, but if this was refused on this issue, which is now in the minutes, we go to the board, the board's going to say, this isn't even a legitimate thing to ask for in a consent. So again, it's just going to, the cost on the city's taxpayer base and everything for this, which we are agreeing to put a condition in there to satisfy this member, I think is the best course of action.
I think we can only go so far on this, and even though I don't agree that the development is the proper development in this area, we've added that condition, and as the agent has said, you know, the engineer that's on site, if it's not done properly, it's his license that could be revoked or lost if there's contamination and it's not cleaned up properly. And whether it's MOE standards or whether MOE is present at the time of that extraction of the septic system. I think we've done just about all we can do as a committee at this level we've added that extra condition. But I'll put it back to the committee if there's any more questions or if there's a motion or.
I'd like to make a motion to approve with all the conditions, in adding the 15th condition being that however the septic is removed, that not only are they to the standards, but as well as the city of Hamilton and stamped by an engineer.
Okay.
Does that satisfy
MOE standards.
MOE standards?
Okay. No, okay. So there's been a motion on the floor from Yannicka. Is there a seconder? Robert, all in favor? Opposed, seeing none, motion carried, application is approved with the addition of the extra condition.
Thank you. Have a great day, everybody.
And then, of course, there was the members of the, I believe, the member of the public here in the hearing, he's already filled out the interested party form. But the Heather and Dan Scott, I mean, well, I think we do have their email information as well, though. But I was just indicating if they wanted to give us their information, they can email it to us at cofa@hamilton.ca. Okay, thank you. All right. Yep, thanks.
Just quick, thanks for all your help. I just want common sense and something built. I did tell him
and you tear down a 150-foot tree or a 50-year-old tree and replace it with a little twig, the tree's gone. $19,000 is enough. I gotta look at those houses when we remove the trees. You know, how long does it take to grow a 60, 70-foot tree? I'll be dead.
I know.
Yep.
You know, and I didn't lie. I told them common sense, that's all I wanted. I wasn't fighting the you know, density issue. I want it done to the neighbors. And I want the property value.
And yeah, as I previously indicated to you, if you ever want, even if it's not C of A related, call or email me. I don't know if my business card is here, or you can come in and speak to me and I'll get you in touch with the appropriate staff. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks so much for attending. Yeah. Next.
Thanks very much, everybody.
Thanks.
It's been a learning experience.
Next. Next, we have it's a consent and it has a related minor variance application. So the consent is B2026-00198. And the minor variance is A2026-00197. 101 Lower Horning Road, Hamilton. Owner is R. Barossa, and the applicant is MB1 Development Consulting Incorporated, M. Barton. So that's the same for both the consent and minor variance applications. And again, Anna or Ryan, if ever I say anything incorrect, please correct me, okay? I believe these two applications have already been tabled prior to the hearing. So as such, the committee will not be discussing these applications today. So if there's anyone here for these two applications for 101 Lower Horning Road, these applications have been tabled or deferred. If you wanted to be notified of if you wanted to be an interested party on these applications, if you're here at the meeting room, you can fill out an interested party form. If you're on WebEx, you can send us an email at cofa@hamilton.ca. Sorry, wait, I'm just. Or wait, actually, no, sorry. I think they did not table prior to the hearing. I apologize. I think the agent is here, though. I believe they're going to indicate they want to table. Yes, I believe they had to. I apologize. I'm going to correct myself. I believe they were going to attend the hearing today to table the application. And I think the agent is on WebEx there. Michael Barton, is that correct?
That is correct. And yes, my name is Michael Barton, MB1 Development Consulting. I am the agent. We reviewed the comments and we want to take staff direction to review the concerns they had raised, particularly with the street tree and the landscaping in the front yard. So we're requesting tabling so that we can have those discussions with staff.
Okay. Is there a motion for tabling? Mel?
Yep.
Moved by Mel, seconded by Yannicka. All in favor of table? Opposed, if any, seeing none. Motion is carried. Applications are tabled.
Thank you. And then through the chair again, just to reiterate, if there's anyone here either in the meeting room or on WebEx who was here for these applications, the applications have been tabled. If you want to be an interested party, if you're here in the meeting room, do fill out an interested party form. If you're on WebEx, do send us an email at cofa@hamilton.ca. Okay, next we have,
I believe Forestry was here.
oh, they were, oh, okay. Okay. No, okay. All right. Next, we have a minor variance application, A26051, 65 Murray Street West, Hamilton. Owner is A. Schwenger and J. Yock, two owners. Applicant is the same two people, and the agent is Lauren Boyer, architect. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, either in the meeting room or on WebEx? 65 Murray Street West. Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward. Please provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Hi there. I do have a presentation that I'm hoping can be shared. Otherwise, I can share it on my end.
No, I have it here. I have it here. Give me a moment.
Okay. Sorry. And I guess I can't see it from my
You'll be able to see it.
location, so,
No, I
oh,
think you'll
there
be
we
able.
go. Okay,
There you go.
perfect. Here. All right. Good morning, Chair and committee members. My name is Lauren Boyer and I reside in Burlington, Ontario. I'm the architect and agent for the property at 65 Murray Street West and will be speaking on behalf of the property owners this morning. My clients are looking to make adjustments to their current Century home to support their growing family. Today's families rarely fit the floor plans of a generation ago, and with both parents working from home, often partly, if not exclusively from home, the house is asked to perform as an office, a playroom, a place to cook, a place to gather, sometimes all within the same hour. Change slides, please. With majority of young parents relying on dual incomes, parents are in constant juggle between childcare and work and there are hours of the day where they need to manage both simultaneously. In the case of my clients, they're fortunate to be able to work exclusively from home, but to do so effectively requires careful planning. They both need a workspace with a door that closes and a wall free of household traffic for video calls, acoustic separation between a call and a piano lesson or a call and a napping baby. They also require daylight for view to make a full workday at home bearable rather than just merely possible. Equally important are the spaces that absorb the friction of a busy household, a mudroom size for hockey bags, school gear, a place to store strollers, bikes, toys. Anyone who has young kids know that they come with an abundance of storage needs. Change slides, please. My client currently scales 9 risers carrying a stroller to safely store it in her front hall and is eager to find a safer and more functional solution. So the goal of the project is to create a designated and independent workspace for each parent, improve the functionality of the existing mudroom, and to rebuild a garage that was previously demolished in 2012 during an initial phase of renovations. Change slides. Instead of rebuilding the garage as a detached structure, 0.6 meters from the lot line, they chose, in order to replicate the previously existing garage and to comply with required setbacks. Next slide. We chose to connect it to the mudroom to allow for manageable access to the stroller, toys, garbage, etc. And by attaching it to the house, it also moves it further away from the rear lot line so that we can provide a landscape buffer between it and the neighboring houses. Next slide. This is the existing and proposed foundation plan. You can see here we are expanding the footprint for a garage, a side entry vestibule, and a porch slab. Next slide. This is the ground floor plan. Although the mudroom exists today, we are rebuilding a portion of the exterior masonry walls above grade to allow for stud framing and end insulation, with the garage and side vestibule being only what is being added to the existing one-story extension. Next slide. Above the mudroom and proposed garage, we are proposing an office with a primary bedroom suite. The second office will be provided in an existing undersized bedroom. This maintains 3 bedrooms while adding 2 independent workspaces for each parent on the second floor. We initially submitted a previous version of the plans for a hearing date on April 30th. After receiving staff comments, we chose to table the application in order to give us time to consult with staff. After initial discussion with planning, we saw opportunities to reduce the footprint of the proposal as well as the overall building height by almost 5 feet. And made those changes. The red line on the plan and elevation submitted shows the outline of the previous submission. You can see the red line there on that second floor plan. And if you go to the next slide, you can see the red line of the previous flanking elevation and how we've reduced the scale of that as well. Next slide. In tandem to staff consultations, we completed shadow studies and see no significant change in the shadow patterns on neighboring lots. Privacy and overlook are not a concern because there are no proposed windows facing neighboring properties and there are no neighboring windows facing the proposed addition. Next slide. Next slide. Next slide. All this is to say that when we resubmitted the revised plans, we were under the impression that we had planning support. We had met directly with Jennifer Catarino, and she was the only member from planning present at that consultation meeting. To our misfortune, she is on holiday and did not review or consult on the updated submission and staff comments for this hearing. So we will need to once again repeat sort of our defense for the application in response to staff's concerns. Staff do note that in their comments that they do not anticipate any negative impacts on neighboring properties and that the proposed massing, scale, and character are generally reflective of the neighborhood. Next slide, please. Planning provides concerns over the rear yard setback, but my understanding is that their objection is tied to how that impacts amenity space. If you look at the history of the lot, the garage has previously existed in closer proximity to the rear yard than what we are proposing. Zoning also allows a detached garage to be 0.6 meters from the lot line if 1 story and 1.2 meters from the rear lot line if 2 stories. This is a unique lot. You know, the back of the property has always been used for parking and storage, not for amenity space. Next slide. We've adjusted the height of our proposal to be in close alignment of the massing requirements for a detached garage with ADU, with our eave line being just below the 6-meter height requirement. From that point, our roof line slopes away from the property line at a 45-degree angle. It is our opinion that the gable roof is more reflective of the neighborhood character than a flat roof. But in the event that our proposal did result in shadowing on neighbor properties, that would have been something that we would have explored. Staff believe that the proposed massing will have no negative impacts on neighboring properties in terms of privacy, overlook, and shadowing. And again, I believe their objection to the rear yard setback is tied solely to amenity space. Next slide. If you were to reference the previous use of the site and the current use of the site, you will see that what our proposal is replacing is not usable amenity space. There was always a garage on this lot with a narrow walkway separating it from the 1-story extension on the house. Next slide. Today, the same is true, but with a temporary shed in lieu of the garage. Again, that amenity space is just, you know, a paved walkway. There's no existing amenity space where we wish to build, and I urge committee to see the amenity that this proposal will add for my client. Next slide. Gives them the opportunity to store bikes and a stroller in a garage so that they can explore the city's parks and amenities. It allows them to store a vehicle in their garage so their kids can play sports on the driveway. It gives them a place for parents to work in tandem to parenting, which is a juggling act that has become the norm. Next slide. So to compare what has historically existed on the lot and what exists today and what is being proposed, I see no reduction or negative impact to the amenity space on the lot. Next slide. This is the lot in 2011 before the initial renovation. Next slide. This is it in 2015 after the renovation is complete. Next slide. And this is it in 2025. The clients have a wraparound deck. Sorry, next slide. The clients have a wraparound deck, which provides an abundance of space for them to enjoy the outdoors. It is sheltered and private thanks to the mature vegetation on the lot. This porch serves as their primary amenity space to gather outdoors. Next slide. Next slide. When we spoke to Jennifer in our consultation, she also asked that we include in our cover letter with the resubmission an acknowledgement from the owner that the existing fencing and patio within the municipal right-of-way are not guaranteed to remain in the future. My client acknowledges that these features may need to be removed in order to accommodate city infrastructure or construction, but that does not change what they wish to achieve by building the addition to their home. Next slide. In their defense, they do not know they're doing anything wrong when installing the fence and patio. If you look at historical photographs of the site, there's always been a perimeter hedge that fences in the property. And where the current patio space has always been utilized for personal use by various property owners throughout the building's history. They were just following the status quo. Next slide. But even if that green space is not theirs to use privately, it is still an abundance of public green space immediately outside their house for their kids to play on and to complement their private sitting area on the wraparound porch. The second concern planning raises over soft landscaping in the flankage yard. Personally, I think this is one of the greenest and well-vegetated corner lots in the neighborhood. Next slide. The calculations for the variances are skewed and do not accurately reflect what is evident on site because the existing house extends all the way to the flanking lot line. It is important to note, or to make clear, that our proposed site plan results in an increase in soft landscaping over the current and previous site conditions. Prior to the renovation in 2012, the soft landscaping was approximately 390 square feet. Next slide. While the current soft landscaping is closer to 320 square feet. Next slide. And by attaching the garage to the house, we free up 5 to 6 feet of landscape buffer for cedar hedges and columnar trees along the rear lot line and add about 100 square feet of soft landscaping to the site. This is about a 30% increase in soft landscaping in the flankage yard from what exists today. So, you know, I don't understand how staff can cite soft landscaping as a reason to object our proposal when our proposal results in an increase of green space. So to reiterate, I don't think it's fair to deny this application for moving forward with an approval over the concerns of amenity space and soft landscaping. No functional amenity space is being removed or impacted in response to our proposal, and our proposal results in an increase in green space on the lot from its current condition. By adding the appropriately sized garage, it also is increasing available parking on the site from to 3 spaces from the current 2 on site today. Next slide. It is our understanding that city staff would support our proposal based on our final consultation with Jennifer. This was conditional on acknowledging on the cover letter of our resubmission that the continued use of the right-of-way is not guaranteed in the future and that we consult with immediate neighbors to seek support. We followed through on both those deliverables and hope that planning and committee staff can see the merit in what we have proposed for the site and the positive impact it'll have for the property owners. Happy to address any other additional questions or clarifications. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the report. Committee, Mel?
Yeah, can we hear from the staff? Because you were denying variants 1 and 2. Can, if there's many changes made, can you respond to that, whether you're okay with them?
David Bomatura, Planning Tech, through the chair to the committee member. Staff to acknowledge that some revisions were made. By the numbers for the variances, they're not very significant, but in different forms, such as the reduction in scale on the addition was a significant change from the original proposal. So staff to acknowledge the effort that was made in that sense. Staff's main objection that remains, and why we're still recommending denial for variances 1 and 2, is essentially tied to the intent of the bylaw. The cumulative effect of variances 1 and 2 would result in, other than the patio space, there is effectively no amenity space on the property, whether it's in the flankage yard or in the rear yard. This has been supplemented somewhat with the features that are in the right-of-way. We cannot account for that, as that is within the city's property and is not applicable in this case. And on that basis, with a long-term view of, even if the current owners are satisfied with what they have right now, we cannot, or Essentially, it's staff's position that in a long-term sense, the cumulative impact of formalizing there being no amenity space doesn't meet the intent of the bylaw. And because it doesn't meet all 4 tests of a variance, staff can't support the 2 variances.
Any other questions from the committee?
May I add something to that comment?
Yes, go ahead.
Just given that it's an existing heritage home, the rear yard currently functions entirely as parking and storage. The only way to accommodate the amenity space that planning is seeking is to ultimately start from scratch and tear down the current house because there's no amenity space there. So just want to keep that in mind.
Okay. Anyone else? Robert.
My original comment after reviewing this was it's a very over building of the lot. And it shows in the variances that are being questioned on that. The same token, it kind of sort of fits the neighborhood, but that rear setback is a lot. So.
For the staff, does the covered porch count as amenity space?
Through the chair, through the chair to the community member, it does function as amenity space. There isn't a calculation per se for amenity space in this applicable bylaw, or at least in this the specific zone that this property is in. So when staff are reviewing situations such as this where there's not a X square meters per bedroom or dwelling unit or some metric like that, it's not quite as defined. So that's where the functions of the 4 tests come in, and through that lens, staff reached a position that it doesn't strictly meet the zoning bylaw intent to test. For example, one of the things that we noted in our comments was many properties in the area do have some form of rear yard amenity space. This property is a bit more unique in that it's on a corner lot. So between the corner lot and the age of the building, they won't have, say, a 10-meter deep rear yard. But there could be alternatives where that area is turned into soft landscaping instead of being an addition or a detached building.
But to that end, if we make that soft landscaping, we eliminate all parking on the site.
Looking at the lot again with the house next door, it's 0.56 meters off the property line. And what's proposed is a little bit greater than that. So there's still going to be access through the back. And it's right up against their house. So it's not like it's encroaching into their backyard. And the comment that was made with the wraparound porch for amenity space, I know it's not in the bylaws, but that kind of sort of makes sense. And so at this point in time, I'll make a motion to approve variance 1, 2, and 3.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Robert, seconded by Yannicka. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion is carried and application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
because I'm before the committee due to an inadvertent merging of title. My client owned one of the properties. He's a mortgage broker. He had a mortgage on the second property that went into default. He took title of that property, and because he took title in the exact same name at the provincial registry office, that they merge and they become a single lot again. And any prior permissions to recognize them individually are lost. So for that reason, we were before this committee back, I think, in December or January. We processed an application for severance to essentially reinstitute the original lot line, because we felt obviously it's necessary under the Planning Act to do so. And a number of the conditions have been satisfied, but the one condition that we've been working away on tirelessly since then was zoning compliance. City zoning staff have guidelines and principles in place that say, notwithstanding that a house may have lawfully been established, in which case both of these were, building permits were issued in 1978 for 208 and 2003 for 203. Buildings were built, constructed, inspected, building permits signed off, lawful. Turns out, in fact, not all elements of those buildings comply with the regulations. We're here today to rectify that position based on the position of the city that, notwithstanding prior conditions, you shall fully comply with the zoning bylaw when you seek to obtain approval for the severances. So again, it's an accident, it's unfortunate. I've done a couple of these before. They're always very difficult because you're dealing with existing development from a prior framework. Regardless, we're here. We have a staff report before you that is recommending approval of the variances, save and except the poor sheds in the backyard. Staff are not in agreement that that variance should be approved and are recommending denial. And I'm before you today requesting that you recognize the circumstances of the application. Those sheds have been there for a significant period of time. Yes, when the owners put them in, they didn't fully comply with zoning, but that's why we have the ability to come before this committee and seek a variance. The variance is to request 0 setback, whereas the bylaw requires essentially 2 feet, 0.45. There's no neighbor objections to any of the variances that you heard, which speaks directly to what I think is, of the 4 tests, I think you need to be satisfied that these are minor. Test of minor is there any adverse conditions resulting from the approval of that variance? In my opinion, no. Again, no neighbor complaints. You have the comments from other city divisions. Development engineering staff said no issues. Predominantly, their concern may have been whether or not there's any ability to impair drainage. That's not the case here. Building engineering had no issues. I can tell you that these sheds are relatively minor. They're not more than, say, 7 feet in height. It's not a slippery slope towards an ADU. In my submissions to the committee, again, recognizing the circumstances of why we're here, we would request your support for the variances in their totality and agree that variance number 3 should also be approved. Those are my submissions, Mr. Chairman. I'd be pleased to address any questions that may arise.
Okay, thanks.
Other these buildings they're existing right now anyway, before we had the last application, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely.
When you had the severance for the last, that put these in jeopardy because they're too close together.
Specifically, are you referring to the accessory buildings at the rear?
Yeah.
Yes. No, they've been in place. I mean, the survey work that we had done to prepare for the severance showed the location of them, and it was picked up when they did the review.
In that case, I'll make a motion to approve all of them.
Okay. Robert, did you have a question before?
No, I just want to make sure that we're including 4.
Yeah,
Variance
including 4. Yeah, including
So
4.
variances 1 through 5.
Yep.
Okay, so a motion is made by Mel and seconded by Robert. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none? Motion is carried. Application is approved.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Next, we have a minor variance application, A2026-00196, 162 Herkimer Street, Hamilton. Owner is J. Boonstra and A. Vanderland. And applicant is the same 2 people, and agent is Lintac Architects Incorporated, J. DeSimone. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, either here in the meeting room or on WebEx? Seeing none, I will ask the applicant or agent, please step forward, please provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm John DeSimone. I'm an architect with Lintech Architects, and beside me is John Boonstra, the owner and applicant. So we're here before you today to ask for a couple of variances. One for a front yard's setback variance, which kind of what we're asking for is to match a ground floor, to match the existing ground floor, which is part of the 1876 portion of the building. So all we're doing is just building over top of what is already existing. And on the side, on the east side, we were asking for a variance because there's an existing bay window that we'd like to build on top. And they said denied, but we actually, I think staff said denied, but I think the better terminology is not required. So I think that's all we're here for. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them.
Good. Robert?
I noticed in the comments here, you just referred to it, that variance 2 is not required. So in that case, we will have to deny it, but it doesn't make any effect on you.
Okay.
Okay. So at the same token, does any other comments? No? Make a motion to approve variance 1 and deny variance 2.
Good. Is there a seconder? Monica? All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried, application.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, next we have a minor variance application, A2026-00188, 161 Annabelle Street, Hamilton. Owner is P. Bondi and C. Bondi. Applicant is P. Bondi and agent is, sorry, I think I mispronounced it. Owner P. Biondi and C. Biondi. Applicant is P. Biondi and agent is S. Biondi. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, either here in the meeting room or in WebEx? I don't believe so. Then I'll ask, if not, then I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward and please provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Philip Biondi and I'm the current homeowner. With me is my father and agent Sandro Biondi. I am requesting a minor variance to permit a second-story storage area above my detached garage, increasing the maximum height from 4.5 meters to 7.4. My family's needs have changed significantly. Our household has grown to 5, and my father's family is not so temporarily living with us while they build their home, which has gone on for a number of years and will be living with us for the foreseeable future until their home is completed. That is 9 people living in less than a 1,000 square foot home and a total of 4 children under 5 and 1 in high school. You can imagine how uncomfortable that might be. I also work remotely. I'm supposed to be working remotely, and I work in healthcare and require a private workspace to maintain patient confidentiality. With only 3 bedrooms available and all existing storage areas and sheds fully utilized, the additional space is necessary to meet our family's needs. Another reason for the height needed, aside from the storage and comfort of walking through the storage, is the need for my truck to clear through the double doors of the garage, as my vehicle is lifted and high in comparison to like a normal vehicle. After reviewing the staff comments, there do not appear to be any significant concerns that I'm aware of. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Okay, thank you for your comments. Definitely you had a chance to read the comments that were posted by the city. Does the committee have any questions? The city is recommending tabling, and I'm guessing to see if there's a way of reducing the height to come a little closer to what the standard is. Does the committee have questions on that variance?
Well, the other thing that I have down here of a note is it would really be helpful if there was a legal site plan done to determine setbacks, but now I realize you're building over an existing building, so setback should be okay. But legal survey would help in general. I know.
Yeah, it's taken us this long.
Now, looking at it, that's going to be pretty high. And I think the right call would be to table it and recall and rework your plans to try to get it down. I get it, it's a challenge going from 7.5 to 4.5. But there's got to be,
Okay, well,
Can you speak?
we had a taller peak, obviously from weight wise, right? And when we applied, the guy we spoke to gave us a certain height limit and we brought it below that height limit already. I can go flat roof, doesn't matter to me.
well, I think what you need to do is come back to the city, the staff, with your proposal of changing the height. And that will show your intent to try to satisfy. And it may work out at the end.
Which we did prior to this meeting, but we haven't been getting any callbacks from them.
Yeah, I also I called 2 days ago and yesterday to kind of, because I can't remember your name, but you came by and mentioned one of the gentlemen here at the committee to mention that there might be thought of tabling it, and but I tried to kind of address these concerns in advance, but nobody has gotten back to me. So we could maybe come prepared.
Because we were told we were allowed 7 point what?
Yeah, 7.4. So
And I brought it below that.
we've adjusted a few times. We've come back and forth.
Apparently, we were told it was an
There really
allowable.
is nothing in the bylaw for ADUs or storage like that over a garage, because it just gets high.
There's a number of homes on my street with, I know they may not be detached per se, but there's garages and units that would clear this on my street. Like in a neighborhood, there's like a number of buildings, or sorry, homes, I should say.
And you can't even see it from we got 20, 25-foot cedars surrounding the whole property.
Yeah.
Nobody can even see it.
Unfortunately, cedars don't count in the bylaw.
Well, I mean, it's not visible. It's set way back in the yard pretty much. So nobody would even probably notice that we're doing anything there.
Is it quite a bit higher than the house itself?
Well, the house is this bungalow.
Yeah, it's higher than the house.
Single-story bungalow, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like you just said, it's
It's set back from the house, yeah.
in the back.
It's hidden. You wouldn't really.
I think the best proposal for you guys is to table it. Make an appointment with the planning staff. Try to get it resolved as much as you can. Maybe they can come up with something a little
Well,
different.
how
to help
much
you out.
lower would you be satisfied?
What's that?
How much lower? Because like I said, I can
That's
go
up to-
flat roof and that would take feet
That's up
off.
to them.
Okay.
But it's up to them, and then when it comes back to us, then we can assess it at that point.
So if they're okay with whatever we decide, you
Well,
should. be okay.
it's,
I don't know.
I'm sorry, but
I'm
it's-
just
it's
asking.
hard- It's hard to base it on a hand sketch,
Okay.
okay? It's not critical of what you've done.
Yeah,
It's
but
great.
you've
I
got
know
the
you're trying to
numbers.
save an architect, I got it. But you're gonna have one eventually anyway for building permit,
Right.
so.
Yeah, well, as we be him being the owner, does he have to hire somebody to? I thought we could go by ours.
Well, it's still gotta be done as per the building code.
Okay.
Whether he's doing it, or you're doing it, or he's doing it, it's still gotta have a building permit submitted, approved. So there's a lot of different ways of looking at it. Like you'd hire a contractor, or you do it yourself, providing it follows
Right.
the plan
That's what
submitted.
I'm not arguing. I'm just saying,
No.
that's what I thought we were doing.
No. Just think, put it this way, put it in perspective. If the drawings require a 2x10 rafter, and you hire a contractor, he puts in 2x8, it ain't gonna fly. That's why getting the drawings done,
Okay.
having them approved, and then we'll have the elevations to work from, and then you just go on from there, okay?
All right. So you want me to make an appointment with planning and work with them is what you're saying?
Yeah, just try to
Okay,
come up with a
okay.
solution,
Okay.
okay?
All right.
So at that point,
That's what I tried to do before.
make a motion to table it.
You're okay with tabling and having this
Well,
meeting?
that's what we gotta do. That's what we gotta do.
Yeah.
Okay, motion's made by Robert, seconded by Mal. All in favor? Opposed, seeing none, motion carried, application table.
And thank you to the applicant or agent. We'll send you an email after in terms of next steps. And always, if you need, you can always contact the C of A staff, call or email or come in and speak with us. And we can sometimes try to assist you to get you in touch with the appropriate staff. Okay? Thanks.
Thank you.
And through the chair, I believe we had a break scheduled now. Do you want to take a
Yeah,
break now?
please.
10, 15 minutes?
What do we have? 5.
Sorry?
I did.
10 minutes.
Yeah, okay, let's take 10 minutes and we'll come back around 11:56, around 12 PM. Okay, thanks. Okay, we'll reconvene now at 11:58 a.m. Okay, next we have a minor variance application. A 2026-00193, 31 Academy Street, Ancaster. Owner is M. Darcy and M. Darcy and the applicant is J. Bognar, and the agent is the same person as well. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, whether it be in the meeting room or on WebEx? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward. Please provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak.
Hi there, Jenny Bogner here. Yeah, not a whole lot to say. We're happy with staff's comments on recommending approval. I'm sure you noticed there's already an addition being built at this address. We did receive a permit back in April for an addition, and now we need a few variances also for a detached garage, as well as to make this addition slightly larger and provide a bump out on the side that takes us closer to the side lot line. So yeah, that's what we're asking for. Happy to answer any questions.
Okay, thank you. Committee.
Are you happy with all the conditions then, are you?
Yeah, we can make that work. Thank you.
In that case, I'll make a motion to approve with the conditions.
Okay, motion made by Mal, seconded by Robert. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Application approved.
Thank you.
Okay, next we have a minor variance application, A 2026-00203, 1176 Brock Road, Flamborough. Owner is Jay Ferguson and applicant is Jay Bottinius. Apologize if I mispronounced your name. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, whether it be in the meeting room here or on WebEx? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the applicant, please step forward and please provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jack Beitenhuis. Yeah, we have a new build going up on 1176 Brock Road. The house is under construction. There's currently a house at the front left-hand corner of the 25-acre lot, and we're looking to get a permit to convert that into an additional dwelling. I see that the first variance was, there was some comments or a recommendation that it was to not be approved, but and the second was recommended to be approved. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Committee?
Sorry, this is my
It's a
first.
front yard.
Make a motion to approve variance 1 and 2 with the notes, and the Hamilton Conservation Authority is satisfied with the application.
Okay, moved by Robert, second by Yolanda. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none? Application, motion carried, application approved.
Sorry, who seconded that motion?
Yannicka.
Yeah.
Thanks. So it was to approve variance 1 and 2.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next we have a minor variance application, A 2026-00183, 971 Old Mohawk Road, Ancaster. Owner is R. Pastoraro and M. Pastoraro, and I apologize if I mispronounced your name. And the applicant is Arcadis J. Marcus and N. Digman. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, whether here in the meeting room or on WebEx? Okay, seeing none, I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward. Please provide your name and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Jared Marcus from Arcadis. With me is one of the owners, Mario Pastoraro.
Okay, go ahead.
I did send in an image that I'd like to reference very quickly for the committee, if I may. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I speak specifically to the image, just a little background to the application. My client built a dwelling through via separate building permit and minor variance in 2023 that allowed this structure to be built with a pool in this almost exact location. And that was done through a previous minor variance. And then most recently, I believe this spring, a pool permit was obtained through the city to build the pool and a concrete pad that has been approved and closed by the city in this location. So the subject application before you is only to permit a pool shed for all the various pool enclosure requirements, the pump, storage, et cetera, in this location. And unfortunately, the original 2023 minor variance application that increased the lot coverage for the site did not contemplate a pool shed at the time. Otherwise, we would have included that within the lot coverage requirement. So now we're here again requesting a pool shed which exceeds the lot coverage by about 0.5% and is proposed to be located approximately 1.2 meters from the rear lot property line, and that is also one of the variances proposed. You'll note in the comments, staff are supportive of the variances proposed, and we're glad to see those comments. However, there are two conditions requested for a tree protection plan and a landscape plan. Our request to the committee is to approve the variances as recommended, but to remove the conditions of approval. Now, the reason for the image before you today is to illustrate, excuse me, that in 2023, when the original minor variance and building permit process were underway, my client retained Aberdeen Tree Services, who prepared an arborist report and tree protection plan. And what you see on this image is the location of the pool shed outlined in red. And going around the pool, you'll see a blue line, and that blue line represents the tree protection fencing that was proposed via the original tree protection plan and arborist report. And what we're trying to illustrate here is two things. One, the proposed development does not encroach within the tree protection fencing limit that was originally established, so there'd be no impact from the proposed variances for the shed to the existing tree to its northeast, and two, that the pool and concrete pad have already been installed per the permit, so there is no new impact to the trees or any additional area there. So in our opinion, the request for a tree protection plan has already been satisfied by the plan done in 2023, and B, since the concrete pads was already installed with the pool permit, it is kind of a retroactive thing, and the addition of the wood structure on top of the concrete pad won't create any new impact that hasn't already occurred on site. So, that's our request: waive conditions and approve as per the recommendation for the variances.
So the pad for the pool shed is already there. It's just construction of the
That's correct.
Shed on top of that concrete.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, that's correct.
Committee, any questions?
Well, seeing that you already have a landscape plan, I'd be okay to approve this application with the number one proposed condition removed, assuming that you would still submit what you have and that should suffice with the second condition.
Pardon me? Sorry, through the chair, I didn't quite hear the last part of that.
So the second condition would be that the owner submits and receives approval of a landscape plan that shows the location of compensation trees, et cetera, which would be something that you already have. So I believe that you would just need the first proposed condition removed.
Thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. The landscape plan typically would only be required where additional tree removal is required. What we were trying to establish through the image that was on the screen was that we are not further impacting and there would be no additional tree removal required. So there would not be a landscape plan required to address tree removal. So in our opinion, both conditions are unnecessary.
But you stated that you had done one previously, correct?
No, through you, Mr. Chair, we stated an arborist report to assess the trees and a tree protection plan to show where the fencing would go through construction was done, but a landscape plan, correct me if I'm wrong.
No, it wasn't requested.
Landscape plan was not originally required.
I'd be okay to remove it then.
Remove both conditions.
And again, through the chair, of course, you can always ask staff if you had any questions regarding the conditions. Thanks.
You want comment from staff to see if that's okay to remove those conditions, or
Well, if it was done in 23,
turn your mic on?
let's hear from him.
Okay.
Any staff comments on this?
Through the chair to the committee members, unfortunately, I can't comment on this directly. I would have to, I would like to defer to my natural heritage colleagues, but I don't believe Melissa is attending virtually at the moment because I believe she was out on site visits this morning. So this is a bit unique in that there was a tree protection plan done prior. I don't believe she was aware of that. And based on that image, it does not seem that there would be additional impacts, but that is not my expertise. So out of an abundance of caution, my recommendation would be to,
if required,
leave it as is or as if required. And if additional work is required, it can be fulfilled through the condition.
Is that okay with, like, if we add in that line, if required, you would just submit what has already been done? Or you want it taken out?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My position remains the same, that there is no impact from development. It's already occurred, so there should not be a need for it. But if it's a difference between table and except if required, then, you know.
Well, I mean, my only comment is, I agree with you that, you're not disturbing anything that's there, but it's up to the committee to make that motion.
So the pool shed is going on an existing concrete slab that was done prior.
Correct.
In 23.
So theoretically, you're putting up a shed. How much, it's not gonna change. There's no footings being dug. There's no damage to trees.
No.
So I think we can pull them both out.
Okay, make a motion.
Okay, hang on. There was a comment from HCA that the adjacent lands owned and managed by HCA, Iroquois Heights and Natural Area, all within the proponent's property boundary. Access through HCA lands for construction purposes will not be permitted. The proponent will be required to ensure that no HCA land shall be disturbed during the development of this property. Now, I think we need to throw that in as a note and leave it at that.
Yeah, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
because it was kind of buried in the letter that came out yesterday that we got.
Yeah.
So obviously didn't have time to make it to staff. So we should add that as a note.
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair, we saw the comment, we're okay with the note.
Okay.
Okay. You're making that a motion?
Yeah, make a motion. Well, you've got the motion on. Was that?
Thank you.
Too many
I'd like to
mics
make
are
a
on.
motion to approve and to remove the two proposed conditions.
What about the note again?
And add the HCA comments, notes.
Motion made by Yannicka, seconded by Robert. All in favor? Opposed, if any? Seeing none. Motion carried. Application approved.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
They never shut us if they have too big race.
Yeah.
Okay, next we have a minor variance application, A 2026-00172, 7 John Street East, Flamborough, and owners N. Hobson and L. Zuber. Applicant is L. Cockwell and agent is C. McPhail. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, whether here in the meeting room or on WebEx? Seeing none, I'll ask the applicant or agent, please step forward, please provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks.
Thank you, Chair. Good afternoon, committee. My name is Charles McPhail. I'm the applicant, work for the applicant and agent for this particular application. What we're bringing before you today is a minor variance that'll allow us to construct a detached secondary dwelling unit on this property. This particular building will be replacing an existing building that was not suitable for reuse. The building we're putting back will be slightly larger than the existing building, but footprint will conform to the requirements of the bylaw. The reason that we're exceeding the maximum permitted floor space is because we are wanting to take advantage of a loft space that will exist as a result of the construction. So we are here asking for permission to permit that additional floor space beyond what is currently permitted under the City of Hamilton's zoning bylaw.
Okay, thank you. Positive comments from planning, so.
Yes, we're extremely happy with all the comments that came back from the city. And we have followed through and completed the heritage permit application process that has gone through all the way through council and has been approved with 2 or 3 minor conditions, which are standard.
Standard. Okay, committee, Robert?
There was, in last night's mail, there was a letter from the NEC, Niagara Escarpment, which is denying the application for the ADU. And their comments were, NEC staff advised that the proposal conflicts with the policies of Part 2.211 of the NEP, and secondary dwelling units within the Niagara Escarpment plan area are not permitted. So the proposal cannot be supported from the NEC, and as its approval will conflict with the policies of the NEC. So might be a stumbling block here.
I have reviewed those policies actually this morning. They're quite restrictive. Nowhere in NEC's lands are these permitted. Nowhere in their lands are anything more than a single family dwelling permitted. Their lands cover approximately 80% of Waterdown, meaning that nowhere in Waterdown you can have more than a single family dwelling or a detached ADU. I do want to mention that we're here for a variance relative to the City of Hamilton zoning bylaw, not necessarily the NEC. And this would become our problem moving forward. I do know that we are in an area that doesn't require permitting from the NEC, only that their rules apply. But their rules apply to a substantial part of downtown Hamilton, which would also not permit anything more than a single detached dwelling on about 10% of downtown Hamilton lands adjacent to the escarpment. So their land use planning and policy doesn't seem to want to jive very much with municipality land use planning and policy. Like I say, today we're here to deal with Hamilton's and Flamborough's zoning bylaw.
I agree with you with that, but we still have this hanging over our heads that the NEC does not approve it. So.
Anyone else comment?
Any comments from the staff on that?
Through the chair, so Elena Balthasar, senior planner. In terms of the NEC comments, we received them after we wrote our comments, but I did want to note the requested variances for size of the garage. So if they came in and wanted to put a garage up and they're asking for an increase in garage size, unfortunately, I can't speak to the NEC comments in terms of their interpretation or review. But the actual variance at this time is for garage size. But it is accurate to say that the comments are to object.
So I guess if the permit goes through, then the question is, would the city not allow it because of the NEC comments?
Not according to this.
Stan?
Through the chair, to the committee members, I just want to clarify that the NEC comments are objecting on a policy basis. This test was only triggered due to the size that was being proposed in terms of the gross floor area. The applicable zoning permits the use regardless. The ADU is permitted in the Flamborough zoning bylaw. It's limited to a maximum of 75 square meters for gross floor area. If staff had these comments beforehand, there would have been a policy issue that we wouldn't be able to support it because it wouldn't pass the official plan test, which requires conformity with NEC tests or policies, but the use is permitted as of right.
Okay. If there isn't any other questions, entertain a motion. They run the chance that, I guess, that, NEC.
We're fully aware of that, just like we run the chance of not getting a building permit after this as well.
Right.
But we are confident we will.
So on one side, you're aware that it could come back and bite you in the,
Us and every other detached dwelling unit in Waterdown currently.
Yeah.
And everything more than a single family dwelling in 80% of Waterdown, which is not permitted by NEC policy currently. And again, I stress currently.
yeah, I don't like these comments coming out the night before, but we still got to deal with them. You can't blame the staff if they don't have the information.
It doesn't give
Got to bring it up, so.
anybody enough time to.
For sure.
Oh, no, it's,
At 7 o'clock last night, I was scrambling trying to deal with this
Yeah.
because that's when I received it as well.
They would have had notification of it long before.
let's hope they would. Anyway, I'll make a motion to approve the application with, there is no conditions and just the proposed notes.
Okay, seconded by Yannicka. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none? Motion carried. Application approved.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next, and I believe it's the final application to be heard today. It's a minor variance application A2026-00199, 714 Center Road, Flamborough. Owner is R. Clark and L. Clark, Restel Hilton, and applicant is Park 8 Incorporated, V. Vanden Arn. I apologize if I mispronounced that name. Is there any members of the public who wish to speak on this application, whether in our meeting room or on WebEx? Okay, seeing none, I will ask the applicant or agent, please step forward, provide your name, and you have 5 minutes to speak. Thanks.
Hi there, I'm Pete from Park 8 Inc. We're representing the owners. We have, and the owners have read the comments, and we're in agreement with the staff's position to support.
Okay.
I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, there's no conditions listed.
Robert?
Yeah, I'm going to approve it. You're okay with the revised variance?
Yes.
Okay. In that case, I'll move approval of it with the revised variance.
Okay, moved by Mal, seconded by Robert. All in favor? Opposed? Seeing none, motion carried. Application approved.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And next we're going to chair and staff announcements. Chair, you have anything?
Okay, and just through the chair, just to clarify, actually, with Nick, he actually had previously indicated at our training session, he wasn't going to be in attendance today. And just to clarify, so Nick, Donna, and Sebastian were not in attendance at the hearing today. Was there a motion to?
Any update on Sebastian, whether?
He's aware that, he can attend either in person or virtually, but
Okay.
no, we don't have any.
And our next meeting date?
August 27th, I believe.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay.
Need a seconder?
Seconder? Yes, please.
Mel?
No, second. Okay, so we're adjourned at 12:24 PM. Thank you.